First, WikiLeaks exposed the secrets of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now it's leaked over 250,000 secret U.S. cables in hopes of outing the real deals that are struck between the U.S. government and other governments behind the scenes. Who's next on the WikiLeaks list? According to an interview in the latest edition of Forbes magazine, the head of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, says his next target is a major American bank. And you thought the White House was angry. In the Forbes interview, Assange says, quote, "It will give a true and representative insight into how banks behave at the executive level in a way that will stimulate investigations and reforms. You could call it the ecosystem of corruption. All the regular decision-making that turns a blind eye to and supports unethical practices. This could blow the lid off of how businesses operate in this country and across the world." Now let's explain why. Andy Greenberg joins us now, and he's the staff writer with Forbes magazine. He conducted the interview with Julian Assange prior to the latest release of the U.S. cables. All right, first, Andy, let's talk about who is he targeting.
Well, Assange told me when we met earlier this month that he has tens of thousands of U.S. banks' documents, which he plans to release in early 2011. He's also sitting on a trove of documents, half of which do relate to the private sector, the other half assumedly governments.
So, for example, if they did fraud in the subprime market, et cetera, we're not going to have to rely on the government to maybe investigate. All of a sudden, we're going to see it right there. We're going to see their internal emails, possibly.
Potentially. I don't want to speculate on what this bank release is going to be about exactly, but you know, certainly we're entering this age where leaks have become more common than ever. We can expect an age of involuntary corporate transparency, and banks are going to be a major target. All
right. Now, he's done this before, right? WikiLeaks has, about other companies that they have outed in certain instances, like toxic dumps that they found out about. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's right. Well, there was a scandal with the bank Julius Baer in Switzerland. WikiLeaks posted documents showing how they helped to hide some of their clients' money in the Cayman Islands. There's another case in which Trafigura, a commodities giant, had dumped toxins in the Ivory Coast. And WikiLeaks helped to publicize that by posting on their site even when it was injuncted, when it was prevented from being published by the British media.
And that cost that company $200 million, but it also, that money went to actually helping the people that got the toxins dumped on them.
That's right.
So that's a huge effect.
WikiLeaks can take a small bit of the credit for that. There was some mainstream media exposure as well.
Right. And so let's talk about how it affects the average American, right? Because let me give you another piece of the article here that actually Julian Assange is quoted here. He says, "In the struggle between open and honest companies and dishonest and closed companies, we're creating a tremendous reputational tax on the unethical companies." So now, here's my take on that. So if you're treating your employees badly and you're writing in an email saying, "Oh, make sure they don't get health coverage," or you're a big healthcare company, you say, "Oh, yeah, we're allowed, we'll kick 10,000 people off insurance knowing that they're going to die, but we're going to make more money."
That's a great way to create whistleblowers, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, right? Because then all of a sudden, if that's the kind of business you're doing, you're going to take a huge hit in your reputation, and people aren't going to want to do business with you.
Exactly. I asked Assange what he thought companies, how they should respond to this age of leaks. And he had a three-part prescription. It was, be more honest and more transparent, encourage leaks from your competitors, especially the dishonest ones, and just be nicer to your employees, because they're the ones that are going to do the leaking if you're not nice to them.
If we find out what the executives are actually saying to one another, I think it changes the whole way we do business here. I really do. So that's why I think that this round of leaks might be more important than the ones about the Iraq War, Afghanistan, and et cetera. So let me and he's being protected here a little bit by Iceland. And that's an interesting fact, too. Now they're calling Iceland Leakistan. Tell us about that. What's going on there?
WikiLeaks itself is not really being protected by Iceland, but what will be protected by Iceland is a whole new generation of WikiLeaks kinds of organizations. Because Iceland is passing a series of laws, ostensibly, that would make it the whistleblowing capital of the world, the free speech capital of the world. WikiLeaks doesn't necessarily need that help. It's already, it seems pretty much invincible as it is, right? But this next generation of WikiLeaks kinds of sites that don't necessarily have WikiLeaks resources could definitely use Iceland as a safe haven.
Right, and if they get into trouble, why not? WikiLeaks can use it as well.
That's true.
Right, and they're now calling Iceland the Switzerland of information.
Yeah, the Switzerland of bits.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And one last thing, for a fun note for the audience. They're storing some of these things at the Thor data center in Iceland. Doesn't that sound badass?
Yeah, everything in Iceland sounds great, doesn't it?
All right, I'm totally in favor of the Thor data center. All right, Andy Greenberg, thank you so much. Great interview. You should check it out, by the way.